Evening, ladies. We're moving on with our learning about Pesach, and we're moving on with our learning about this great Shabbat that comes right before Pesach, a little bit too tight if you ask me. And we want to learn more about this Shabbat and understand what it is that we need to take from this time. I think we said it before, how when we learn before the Chag or before whatever it is that comes to us, when we are more prepared, then we can draw from the time. We can enjoy more and we can make this time more meaningful for us. Now the days are the same, the holidays are the same, the Shabbatot are the same, but we're the ones that are different. And when we learn, when we prepare ourselves, then we make this time so much more meaningful for us. So this Shabbat, the great Shabbat, right before Pesach, the Netivot Shalom explains something about Shabbatot in general. He says, when we make Kiddush, we say, what is it that we need to remember on Shabbat? What is it that makes the Shabbat so holy? Or why we were given the Shabbat? So he says, the Shabbat, there are two things we say when we make Kiddush. We say, Zikaron Maaseh Bereshit, which means when we keep Shabbat, we declare our faith in the creation. We say Hashem created the world through for 6 days, and then on the 7th day he rested, and so we rest. So on the Kiddush we say on the Shabbat, this is our way to remember the creation of the world. And another thing that we say is Zecher L'Yetziat Mitzrayim, which means on the Shabbat is something that reminds us how Hashem took us out of Egypt, how Hashem chose us to be His nation. And Netivot Shalom explains that those are two different levels of faith. The first one, believing in the fact that Hashem created the world, it's a very basic kind of faith. We're saying this world wasn't just randomly created by a massive explosion. It was created by Hashem, and Hashem created the world. Wonderful. The other level of saying that Hashem took us out of Egypt, we're not only saying there was a creator, we're saying there was a creator, but He's still involved in the creation. He is still in charge. He still rules over the world and manages everything. And we call it Hashgacha Pratit, which means that Hashem sees every single one of us. And He controls exactly what happens in our lives. And each one of us gets exactly what Hashem wants us to get. And how do we see it in Hashem taking us out of Egypt? First of all, Hashem chose us amongst other nations. So it means that He's involved. And it means that we're not all exactly the same. In the eyes of Hashem, there is a selective kind of approach that every person gets exactly what Hashem wanted, and we're not all exactly the same. And we can see it when Hashem took us out of Egypt. There were the plagues, and it says in the Psukim in the Torah again and again and again, it says how the Egyptians were punished in the plague, but it didn't harm the Jews at all. So the river turned into blood, but the Jews had water, because anytime they dipped their cups in the blood, it turned back into water. So we say Hashem is involved, Hashem controls this creation, and Hashem treats us as individuals, and each one is being inspected by Hashem individually. And so it's a higher level of faith. And so we said before that the Shabbat is the one that draws the spiritual light for the entire week that comes afterwards. And when Pesach comes, so the Shabbat before draws all the spiritual lights for everything that is to come during that week. And we said that this Shabbat is one of those two Shabbatot, that if we keep this Shabbat and the Shabbat Shuvah before Yom Kippur, if we keep those two Shabbatot, the entire nation of Israel, then Mashiach would come right away. So this is a very, very holy and powerful Shabbat. And in this Shabbat specifically, it's more like the higher kind of faith, because this Shabbat draws all the spiritual lights for Pesach. And Pesach is all about Yetziat Mitzrayim. It's all about how Hashem took us out of Egypt. It's all about how Hashem chose us to be His nation, and that is the light that we're being given during this Shabbat, the light of this higher kind of faith. This faith when you say, it's not only that Hashem created the world, and now everything happens here randomly, and everything is accidental, and things that happen randomly. If I bumped my toe in the corner of the table, that was an accident, and everything was random. And this is what we say on this Shabbat. Things are not random, and things are not, there's no coincidence in this world. Everything is being controlled by Hashem, and Hashem sees and cares about every single one of us. And there's another pasuk that says, רם השם על כל גויים, על השמיים כבודו. מי כהשם אלוקינו, המגביהי לשבת, המשפילי לראות בשמיים ובארץ. It's a long pasuk. Most of the pasukim that I give are short. But it basically says, רם השם על כל גויים, על השמיים כבודו, which means even the most righteous of the Gentiles, the holiest Gentiles, the ones that are closest to Hashem, what do they say? They say Hashem rules the heavens. But then it says, Mika Hashem Elokeinu. Who is like Hashem, who is our God? Hamagbihi Lashevet u'mashpili liot. We know the Magbihi Lashevet, which means Hashem is all the way, He fills the entire universe, He's in the heavens and He's here and He's everywhere. But mashpili liot, but He looks all the way down. He sees every single thing in this world. And He goes to the smallest, darkest corners. B'shamayim u'ba'aretz, which means Hashem is in the heavens, He's in the sky, He fills the entire world, but He's also down here on earth with us. So that's the difference, it says according to the pasuk, between us and Gentiles. The Gentiles say, there is a God in the heavens. But we say, yes, Hashem is in the heavens, but He fills the entire universe, and He fills this world, and He's also down here on our earth with us. And that is it for this evening. Thank you for joining me, and have a good evening. Bye. And you know what? Please, if you can write to me after this video, Bezat Hashem, if you can write to me exactly what you think, what you thought now after you watched it, and where do you see Hashem sometimes in our lives? Not only up there in the heavens, but where do you see Him in the small details of life? In our everyday basis. Where do you see Him in our world? Thank you, and have a good evening. Bye.